Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I am your host, Cade Nagyar, giving you episodes every single Friday, giving you your NFL, NBA, college basketball, and college football news, as well as your local Daytona State sports news. Let's fade this music out a little bit here. What a Thursday. Lots of topics to go over today for episode 3. First off, we're gonna get right into it here. Joe Burrow. He's out for 3 months with turf toe and torn ligaments. Expect Jake Browning to be the starter of this football team. There was people talking about the Kirk Cousins controversy. Maybe Kirk Cousins would go to the Bengals, but I think the Bengals have firmly, especially over these last few days, as I've been monitoring, they're going to stick with Jake Browning. Why would you get Kirk Cousins? He would be like a rental for 3 months. I don't like it. I think Jake Browning is a very talented QB. I was talking about on Sunday when Joe Burrow went down that the Bengals still have a good shot at winning this football game because Jake Browning is so talented. I do think Jake Browning, if he was a little bit more developed, he could easily be a starting QB in this league. It's very unlucky that he's on the Bengals where he has a top 3 QB on the team. That's the unfortunate part. Also, it's only week 2, and teams already have hurt starting QBs. I don't know what this is about. I mean, we've seen it in the past few years where QBs get injured super quick in the league. Justin Fields is out on concussion protocol. Jason McCarthy's out for 2 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury. Jane Daniels is doubtful for Sunday with a knee injury. And, what I took from this was no matter what rules you put in place for these QBs to be protected, they'll get banged up on the football field. It does not matter. They put these roughing the passer calls in, and it does nothing because these quarterbacks today, these athletes are so dynamic and so flexible that I feel like later, like back in the 80s, it was normal for QBs to play a full season, but now the game is so talented now and stronger that I think that QBs getting injured is just it's a part of the game now. It's a part of the game. It's not even like these QBs are taking huge hits. That's why the roughing the passer rules are so strict in today's game. I mean, Joe Burrow literally just got his ankle grabbed and got turf toe and torn ligaments. That was it. That's it. That's all it took. And bang, he was gone. We look at some QBs, and they're like Iron Man, though. They can play every single game without fatigue and injury. Look at a guy like Baker Mayfield on Monday. He was shaken up a little bit, but then CJ Gardner-Johnson started talking to him, got right back up. He has that dog in him. He has that dog in him, man. He'll keep talking trash. Jared Goff, he mostly plays every game, but he's a pocket passer. He doesn't really move that much. Josh Allen, he can play every game. For rushing as much as he does, he can play every single game regardless. And then you have QBs like Joe Burrow who get all the time, it seems like. So I don't know what's up with that, but do we think Joe Burrow gets hurt because he's injury prone or because he's had no O-line since entering the league? I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think Joe Burrow is the most durable of guys, but he's never had a top 20 offensive line in his career, which is crazy to me. It's crazy that he's made it to a Super Bowl with a bottom 5 offensive line. Let that sink in. The injury-prone career of Joe Burrow is going to prevent him from becoming one of those great NFL QBs that we talk about. The best availability is availability. We talked about a guy like Christian McCaffrey. He looks great on the field, but that's when he is on the field. So lots of injuries going around here. And now with the Bengals losing Joe Burrow, I don't know how they're going to compete in this AFC conference. The conference is wide open this year. This was the Bengals' year to go back to the Super Bowl because the Chiefs, they're not as good now. So the Bengals, this is their shot to make it to the AFC championship game, possibly make it to a Super Bowl. The only thing that's standing between them is the Bills and the Ravens and the Chargers. You got like 4 teams in there that are really good, and the Chiefs cannot stop them now. So the conference is wide open. Next topic, the tush push. Lots of controversy going on in the NFL right now, considering the tush push. So we were talking last year about how do you ban the tush push? But before, we thought the Eagles were just simply so good at it, and they've mastered the play. It's an ugly play, and it's a play that takes a physical toll on you, but it's not worthy enough to ban it. But I think we found out this week how to ban the tush push. You cannot officiate the tush push at all. Dean Blandino, a review specialist, he was on Dan Patrick's show. He said it perfectly. He's tired and done at looking at this play because once you can officiate it, we saw last week during the Eagles and Chiefs game, it looks like the Chiefs line up in the neutral zone and the Eagles look like they get a head start on the play. And they spot the ball where the pile is and not where the ball is. So the refs go out and make a guess on where the ball's spotted. So the refs they just have to go out there and infer on where the ball's going to be placed. It's a play that has been taken too far. And, I think now is the time where the play can be banned. I feel like they will get those 2 votes that they do need. And I don't see the play living next season. So those were the news around the NFL. A lot of controversies and injuries going on in the NFL. But now I'm going to get into my biggest Super Bowl contenders going into week 3. And I've got 4 specific teams I want to talk about here because these teams right here just look super dominant to me. And they look like the Super Bowl winners going into week 3. So number 1, I got the Packers. They're the team to beat. Not only in the NFC, but just flat out in any conference. They just dominate every team that they see. And, the teams that they've dominated, it's not like they've played the Bears or the Panthers. They're playing really good NFL teams like the Lions, like the Commanders. And Micah Parsons has just opened up this defense. Like I said before on this podcast, Jordan Love looks great. And I'll say this right now, they're the best looking team in football right now through 2 weeks. Argue with a wall. Number 2, I have the Bills. Josh Allen's on a different level than anybody else in this league. Season ended today, he would be MVP again. He would repeat MVP. James Cook is running super good. That defense is scrappy. I know Ed Oliver and Matt Milano are going to be out for week 3, but they have pieces on that defense that could step up, and they have the team in the conference to win this Super Bowl this year. Like I'm going to say, for every single AFC team, this is your year to make the Super Bowl. I'm talking to the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chargers, who I'm going to get into later. Number 3, I have the Ravens. Lamar looks very good, and they have sneaky weapons on this offense like DeJounte Wester and Tylan Wallace. They have a fantastic defense, and again, they have the conference this year to do it. And the last one I have here is the Chargers. They're the biggest surprise of this season. Justin Herbert looks back to his old self. That receiving room looks great too. The defense is picked up right where it left off from last season, and they have a fully confident Quentin Johnson who looks great. He looks amazing through 2 weeks of football. He has 3 touchdowns. He has good yardage. His hands are starting to get reliable, and not just Quentin Johnson. Like I said, that receiving room in general looks great. Lab McConkey, Keenan Allen, these players look great. Keenan Allen looks back to his old self. He has, I think, 2 touchdowns this season. They're looking great. So I think these 4 teams are the biggest teams that I'm going to be looking at going into week 3 as, can you carry this momentum and can you prove to everybody in the NFL that, hey, we're Super Bowl contenders? They're doing that so far. The Colts, man, Indiana Jones is the coolest name in football right now. Got the Colts to a 2-0 record to be a contender in the AFC Conference right now. What a game that was against the Broncos. What a game. Daniel Jones revived his career in Indiana, I believe. And I want to take a moment and acknowledge the best NFL nicknames of all time. I thought this would be a fun topic to go over about how many guys have such cool nicknames. Mean Joe Green, we're going to start off with that. That's an intimidating nickname, man. Came about when people realized that he played really tough and physical brand of football, really stuck with him when he played for North Texas State University. Mean Joe Green played 13 seasons in the NFL with 77.5 sacks and 16 fumble recoveries. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champ, He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 10-time Pro Bowl He's a 10-time Pro Bowl selection with 5 times first team All-Pro selection. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1987. The nickname is really fitting for him, and he was phenomenal when he played. Old Deion Sanders, primetime. I'm not much of a Deion Sanders fan, but he does have a sick nickname. I will say he has a sick nickname to pair with an amazing NFL career. By the way, name came about when he was playing a baseball game, and one of his teammates said he balled out like he was on primetime TV. What a good friend. 14 seasons in the NFL with 53. That's right, 53 interceptions and 9 touchdowns. He was a phenomenal punt returner and kick returner with 4 touchdown returns. Was the first guy that was a two-way player that was remembered. He had 60 receptions for 785 yards and 3 touchdowns on offense. He was a 2-time Super Bowl champ, was a Defensive Player of the Year in 1994, had 8 Pro Bowl selections with 6 times first team All-Pro, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011. That's primetime Deion Sanders. Megatron. This is probably the coolest one of all time. Megatron Calvin Johnson. Name came about because of his height and weight. He was 6'5", 237, moving. He was moving, man. Was unheard of for a wide receiver at that time to be that agile, being so tall. He played 9 seasons in the NFL, kind of a short career, but he had 731 career receptions for 11,619 yards and 83 touchdowns. His production was insane throughout his short career. One thing I will say about Calvin Johnson is that, he never, it was just wasted talent, man. He was on the Lions when they were bad, and I think, if he went to a contending team at that time, he would have won a few rings, man. He was phenomenal. He was a 6-time Pro Bowl selection, 3-time first team All-Pro, 2012 Offensive Player of the Year, and holds the single season record for yards in a season. Crazy, crazy. Next one, we're going to kick it back here. Broadway Joe Namath, got his nickname from his party boy lifestyle and his association with a trendy New York nightclub that he co-owned. Interesting. He threw for 27,663 yards, 173 passing touchdowns, won Super Bowl III MVP, and he was in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Joe Namath, Super Bowl III, man. What an OG. Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch. Got his nickname from his childhood coach who described his aggressive play style as a beast. Throughout his career, he had 10,413 rushing yards and 85 touchdowns. He was a Super Bowl 48 champ, a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro. His play style in the 2010s was so aggressive, so the name is super fitting. I remember the one play, I think it was in the wild card game against the New Orleans Saints, Beast Mode Run. Beast Mode Run. I wish I had the clip. I'd probably pull it up and play it, but it was insane, man. That run was insane. Probably one of the best runs of the 2010s for sure. And my last one, probably my favorite one, also, the human joystick. When you're getting, compliments about how shifty you are, that's crazy. Kind of off subject here, but Rob Dillingham is kind of like that too. For the Minnesota Timberwolves for basketball. He's insane. He switches gears. That's his logo for his shoe. But anyways, Dante Hall, the human joystick. His nickname came about from his elusive and electrifying playmaking ability. He was a punt and kick returner. He was a solid receiver too, with 162 receptions for 1,747 yards and 9 touchdowns. He had over 12,397 kick return yards and 12 return TDs. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler and a first-team All-Pro in 2003. The most memorable play from Dante Hall was he has the nastiest juke of all time. I think he caught a football kind of on a flat route. He caught it, and he made 2 guys tackle each other, which was insane. Some other notable nicknames include Deacon Jones, which was David Jones. He has a award named after him, I think. Sweetness, Walter Payton, Man of the Year award. Night Train Lane, which is Dick Lane. And next thing I want to talk about was from Monday night. I'm worried about the Houston Texans defense. No, like in a good way. They are stacked. I was watching the Monday night game against the Bucs. Really opened up my eyes to how good this Texans defense really is. They have two great edge rushers in Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. They have Derek Stingley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie, Jonathan Hankins. Lots of playmakers on this Texans defense that catches my eye. I just wanted to point that out, man. They played great. Gamers of the week. We're going to start off. Tucker Kraft on Thursday. 6 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Love needs to keep hitting him. I think their offense will be very successful. I think he can have a Travis Kelce-esque role on this team as being the leading receiver for them. Matthew Golden, he's okay. Jaden Reed's out now. They have Dontavian Wicks. He's solid, and then Christian Watson's hurt. So Tucker Kraft really needs to be this guy on this team and like that Travis Kelce guy on this team to really make this offense amazing. Oh, Jamar Chase, man. He was the best receiver last season, and it shows why this game. 14 receptions for 165 yards and a touchdown. I was watching that game. He looked unguardable that game. They were playing zone. The Jaguars were playing zone, and he was getting just in the holes in the zone, and he was great, man. He was great. Drake May, 19 for 23 for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions with a rushing touchdown. I didn't watch the Patriots versus Dolphins game, but based off these numbers, Drake May looks good right there. Devontae Adams came out good this game. 6 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. Played great as well for this Rams team against a poor Titans defense. So good for Devontae Adams. Lamar Jackson, 19 for 29 for 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. It was just the game was over right when the Ravens took the field, man. Lamar Jackson looked great. D-Hop is starting to revive his career. They look great right now. James Cook, I was talking about him earlier. 21 carries for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looked unguardable. They took Josh Allen like midway out the game because, they were dominating so much. Mac Jones, too. 26 for 39 for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. Mac Jones looked great against the Saints. It is the Saints, so, you take that with a grain of salt, but Mac Jones looks good right now. Let's see what he can do against Arizona week 2. Spencer Rattler, 25 for 34, 207 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looked good too. I think, put more pieces around him. Spencer Rattler could be the Saints guy going forward here. Russell Wilson, this one's kind of shaky. He is a gamer this week. 30 for 41 for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, but that stupid interception in overtime. You know what? Like I might as well put gamer of the week, regular 60-minute game Russell Wilson. Overtime Russell Wilson, it wasn't that good. He played bad. He played bad in overtime. Roma Dunze, 7 receptions for 128 yards and 2 touchdown catches. Let me tell you guys, this kid is playing awesome. Roma Dunze, despite the whole Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams thing, he is playing good, especially through adversity from last season because he didn't really perform well last season. I think part of that was just the offense was slow, stagnant. So it's good to see him finally get this type of production that we expected out of college from him. Jared Goff, man, 23 for 28 for 334 yards and 5 touchdown passes with no interceptions. Did not give Ben Johnson, no mercy. Same with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 9 receptions for 115 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looks great. They all look great. Let's see if they can pick it up against the Ravens. That's going to probably be the game of the week on Monday. But, they looked great. And then my last one here, Jonathan, actually we have 2 more. Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries for 165 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but really set this ground game up for this Colts team to win that game. And then an honorable mention here, Geno Smith played very great for the LA Chargers. He went 24 for 43 with 180 yards, 0 touchdown passes with 1, 2, 3 interceptions. Let's pack it up, bro. Let's pack it up. Let's just play for the Chargers now. Sit as a backup to Justin Herbert, dude. That's literally what you did. Next topic here. We need to have a talk about young developing QBs and college QBs in general as well. It didn't hit me until this weekend that the development of these QBs, they don't look good, man. Look at Cade Klubnik, for example. They just lost to Georgia Tech. Shout out Georgia Tech as well. They're a solid team. I like them. I think they have a lot of potential. I think they're very good. But going into the season, we said that Cade Klubnik was going to be a successful quarterback. Late last season, he looked good. Coming into preseason, week 1, we said he's going to be the Heisman winner. This Clemson team is stacked. They're going to make the national championship. And I don't know what's up in Clemson right now as far as their football team is going, but nevertheless, Cade Klubnik does not look good. I put in my notes that he took 2 steps backwards this year, and how true that is. Another guy that we can look at is Lenore Sellers. He has all the physical tools to be successful in the NFL and a successful college QB, but we look at him this year, and he hasn't looked great in any of these games. Even against Vanderbilt, he didn't do good. They got curb stomped, man. We can also look at the DJ Lagway. This is a prime example right here. Looked good last year, comes out this year and doesn't look good. He threw 5 picks against LSU. He played bad against USF. And DJ Lagway just doesn't look good. I don't know why. What's up with these development of these young QBs? I don't understand it. Another guy, Drew Allar, he doesn't look great. Penn State's just really good. Arch Manning, these are people. These are young quarterbacks that are supposed to look good, and they have all this hype surrounding them, and then they don't even look good. So I don't know what is up with that. And then we look at the NFL too, and we have Caleb Williams, man. He doesn't look good. He was very successful at USC. I mean, he was respectfully a number 1 pick for sure. He looked awesome coming out of high school. And this is an epidemic just going on for young QBs in the NFL and college. I kind of want to talk about the Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson situation real quick. Some people are calling it an unhappy marriage, and that is very true. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are to blame for the Bears not looking good, in my opinion. I understand that there's a problem with the defense, and I understand that, Ben Johnson hasn't dealt with a Caleb Williams-esque QB build, an improviser QB. Caleb Williams kind of reminds me of his play style of like a Russell Wilson, where he can improvise and extend plays, but he's not really as much of a scrambler. He can extend plays, push the ball downfield, and now Caleb is at fault, but Ben Johnson needs to accommodate for Caleb's play style. I feel like Ben Johnson is basically making Caleb Williams try to become the second coming of Jared Goff when that's not who he is. They are different players. They are different people. Now, I will say Jared Goff is more successful, sure, but you can't make a player, like you can't make Lamar Jackson play like Tom Brady. You can't. You have to make your playbook surrounded by your QB and accommodated to your QB. Will I think that they figure it out? I don't know. I think maybe at the end of this season, they'll start to figure things out, kind of like the Panthers did last year, and I think they'll win a few games. But until Ben Johnson realizes that this is not Jared Goff, it's not going to look pretty. Caleb does need to get rid of the ball quicker. It is a problem. It's been his problem since entering the league. In college, this is where the poor development takes place. At USC, he could do anything he wanted because he was the best athlete on the field 95% of the time. He needs to have a reality check and realize, oh wait, I can't play the same as I did in college. It doesn't work. I'm starting to see the same thing in Cam Ward. Last week, he had that amazing extended play to Manor in the end zone late at the half, and I look at that play and I shake my head. No. Nope, don't like it. He was a great athlete in college, and he thinks he can translate it into the NFL, but once again, it does not work. It does not work. And that's why Cam Ward is not going to be very successful this year until he realizes that he's not the best athlete on the field. He needs to get rid of that ball quicker. So, there are some successful young QBs in the NFL right now, like a Jaden Daniels, kind of like a CJ Stroud. He's starting to fall off just a little bit. But even in college, the best QBs in my eyes right now are John Mateer for Oklahoma, Dante Moore for Oregon, and Tommy Castellanos for FSU. Those are my Heisman candidates right now. I like the way that Dante Moore and John Mateer are playing. I think they'll battle it out. I think they're pretty good. But where is Arch Manning? Where is Cade Klubnik? Where's Drew Allar? Where's Lenore Sellers? These are the guys that had the hype entering the season, and it's starting to fall off a bit. So I just wanted to make that point there. Young QBs and young NFL QBs and young college QBs are struggling to develop in this league. Struggling. Anyways, next topic. Some predictions going into this weekend of football. This would probably be like my headlines going into Monday, week 3, just passed. This would be the headline on the newspapers. This is my predictions. Bills curb stomp the Dolphins Thursday night. Tyreek demands a trade and goes on shop. Now, I talked about it last episode, and I'll say it again. The Miami Dolphins look awful. They look bad. I don't think I've seen a worse Miami Dolphins team in the past 4 or 5 years, since this decade started. They look bad. Tua needs to get out of there. Tyreek needs to get out of there. Keep Jalen Waddle, A-Chain, and let's start rebuilding. Because here's a problem. You keep Tua and Tyreek this season, they're gonna want to test free agency, and they're gonna want to get out of there. So I think, especially for Tyreek Hill, extract the value that you can get out of him right now, since you have ownership of his contract right now. That's what I would be doing. I would be putting Tyreek Hill on shop probably right now. Don't even play the Thursday night game. Put him on shop right now. And a contending team, kind of like maybe like the Ravens will go after him or somebody. A contending team that needs a receiver, the Chiefs might go after him again. We don't know. And then my next one's a very hot take here. The Giants stun the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football and pick up the W. Chiefs start 0-3 to start the season. To provide some context, I think that the Giants have just as good as a defense as the Chiefs do. I know last week they gave up about 40 points, but I do like their front seven a lot. I do, and I think that they could pressure Mahomes really well. I like the matchup. And when we look at these offenses, Russ is starting to get somewhere, but the Chiefs' offense looks horrendous. So give me the upset in MetLife. I know I was talking trash about Russell Wilson, but he's starting to put it together here. I put him in the Gamers of the Week. he's starting to look good, man. He's starting to look good. Cardinals beat Niners in an offensive shootout. Cardinals improved to 3-0 to start the season. Both of these offenses look good, and I think these defenses can't stop them. The Cardinals just simply are more healthy than the Niners are. So, giving the Cardinals to stay undefeated right now, and I think they would be. I think they would be first in their division if they won. Colts start out 3-0 in a win over the Titans. Daniel Jones looks like the most improved player on the season. Colts, they look like they can compete and shake up the AFC conference here. They look very good. And we could see maybe they can push for a wild card if they keep this up here. I would not be surprised. Chargers dominate Broncos comfortably in a divisional game. Chargers prove for yet another week why they are a threat in the AFC conference. Chargers, they just look good, man. I don't think the Broncos have enough firepower to beat this Chargers team. We talk about the receiving core. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Keenan Allen, they look great. The running back looks great. Justin Herbert, the heart of that team, looks great. He looks phenomenal. And in that defense, I know Khalil Mack is out now, and they just signed somebody. I think it was Clyde Farrell. But they look great. Derwin James, Henley. Henley's huge. Henley's really good. But yeah, this Chargers team, man, who's going to be able to keep up with them? Their roster is really good, and they have a lot of firepower on that team. So I don't see people beating them. The Bengals get a win against the Vikings. Browning looks good in his first start this season. Bengals look good under Browning and believe that they can compete in the AFC despite Joe Burrow being out. I was talking about it at the beginning of this episode, and I'll say it again. Jake Browning is a talented QB. I know he threw 3 interceptions last week, but he is really good. He is really talented, and I think he can really make this Bengals team shine and compete for a playoff spot still. And then we got Rams-Eagles. Come down to a game-tying field goal. Rematch of the divisional game last year in the playoffs is cinematic, and the Eagles scrape by with the win. I look at the Eagles roster and I say, how can somebody beat them? They have such a talented roster around them. Who's going to beat them? And I think the Rams will give them a good fight, but the Eagles they're too good, man. They're too good. In our next topic, we have Daytona State sports here. The women's soccer team faced off against Miami-Dade on Tuesday. Daytona keeping their hot streak going, improving to 6-0 on the season. Susu Roberts, Chanel Buckley, Risako Abe, all with a goal in the 3-0 win against Miami-Dade. Women's volleyball also faced Miami-Dade on Wednesday. Charisma Lofton with 18.5 points for Daytona State, but unfortunately the Miami-Dade won 3-1 against Daytona. And then lastly, the men's soccer team played Illinois Central. Carlos Rojas with 2 goals in the loss for Daytona State to Illinois Central, 3-2. And for the last topic of the day, we're going to be doing my NFL matchups, takes, and analysis today. So Dolphins versus Bills tonight for Thursday. I'm taking the Bills here. I talked about it earlier. The Bills will curb stomp the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a mess. So I think the Bills will win. I think Josh Allen will have probably 3 total touchdowns, maybe like 1 rushing, 2 passing. James Cook's just going to run all over them. Keon Coleman's going to be very successful. So, yeah, give me the Bills on that one. Texans versus Jaguars. I think this is going to be a closer game than everybody expects. The Texans, yes, they do have a good defense, but their offense is not so hot right now. And the Jaguars, they're in that scenario where they're not bad, man. Can Trevor not turn over the ball is the question. So I think I'm going to take the Texans here by 3. And, let's see if CJ Stroud and Nico Collins can connect kind of like they did last week. Let's see if Nick Chubb can run a little better. If this Texans offense can put it together, they'll easily beat the Jaguars in this one, but don't sleep on the Jaguars, man. Travis Etienne's playing really good. A lot of players on the Jags are playing really well, but Trevor's just not locking in, so I think I'm going to take the Texans on this one. Jets versus Buccaneers. I'm taking the Bucs. The Bucs, they are banged up. They have a lot of people out right now. Tristan Wirfs, Cody Malk is out for season now. Luke Gedeke is out for a few weeks now. But Baker's a dog. We still have Mike Evans. Emeka Egbuka's a little banged up, but he's going to play. And I love that defense. And the Jets, they just don't really have much going for them. Justin Fields is going to be playing. I don't really expect much from the Jets in this game, so give me the Buccaneers in that game. Bengals versus Vikings. I'm going to take the Bengals on this one. I think Jake Browning's really good. I think he can get the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Chase Brown, he's very solid, but expect this Vikings team to hold them to low scoring throughout this one. The Vikings have a really good defense, and I expect them to compete and put this team in a position where they could win this game. So I'll take the Bengals, but probably not by much. Steelers versus Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots on this one. The Steelers they're messed up, man. Aaron Rodgers last game he didn't look as great as he did in Week 1. DK Metcalf, he's okay. But the Patriots, Drake May's starting to put it together. I like some of the weapons that they have over there. I like Kayshon Boutte. If the Steelers defense can lock in, I could see him win this game. But I like the Patriots offense now. They're starting to give me some hope. So I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. Colts versus Titans, I'm taking the Colts. The Titans are they're rebuilding. If Cam Ward can show some signs of life for the Titans, that would be awesome. I think Daniel Jones is playing really well, and we'll see if he can keep it up this game. But I'm going to take the Colts on this one. Falcons versus Panthers, I'm taking the Falcons. Michael Penix is on a different level than any second-year QB right now. He's playing better than Jane Daniels right now. Michael Penix looks really good. With that defense that the Falcons have, I think they're a really good team. I like what they got going over there for the Falcons. And the Panthers, let's see, they kind of put it together last week. Can Bryce Young really limit the turnovers is the question. But yeah, give me the Falcons on that one. This one's a good one here. Rams versus Eagles. I did have the Eagles winning by 3 on this one, but this is going to be a very competitive game. I think Matt Stafford's going to put up a good game. Devontae Adams is going to play a really good game. But these are two really good NFC teams. This could possibly be the NFC Championship game right here. So we'll see, but I got the Eagles winning by a field goal. Raiders versus Commanders. This is a very big toss-up one. I think I do have the Commanders winning this one. But despite Jane Daniels not looking great last week, the Commanders have a solid team. And, they have good players. And if Jane Daniels can really just lock in like he did the first week, he could easily win this game against the Raiders. I will say for the Raiders, if Geno Smith cleans up the turnovers and if Tom Brady is not really coaching the game, then yeah, I could see the Raiders really competing, but I don't really. Brock Bowers, he's really good, but I just don't see this Raiders roster beating a Commanders roster. Packers versus Browns. Give me the Packers, man, by a mile. Packers are going to curb stomp the Browns easily. Jordan Love's probably going to throw like 4 touchdowns. It's just the Packers are at this point where it's like their team is really good, so if they don't really capitalize on these type of games, improve to 3-0, then we're going to start having some problems, man. I think the Packers could really realistically win 13 to 14 games this year. So this should be an easy win for the Packers there. Broncos versus Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to win this game. Like I said earlier, the Chargers look really good. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. The Broncos just don't have enough firepower simply. So give me the Chargers on that one. Saints versus Seahawks. Give me this, man. Oh man, that might be a trap game. I don't know. Wow. The Saints would be a big dark horse in this game. The Saints, they have competed in both weeks that they have played. They're going to keep the game close for sure. But I'm going to take the Seahawks here. I'll take the Seahawks. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is really good. I think he'll come out with a lot of yardage. Cooper Kupp as well. And, I think Sam Darnold is he's locking in. So I'm going to take the Seahawks here probably by maybe 6 or 7 points here to win the game. Cardinals versus Niners. Shocker. Maybe not a shocker, but I'm going to take the Cardinals here in the offensive shootout. Like I said earlier, the Cardinals have a sneaky good team, and they're not talked about enough. I like their team that they have over there. Their defense is not amazing, but that offense with Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison, Kyler Murray, and James Conner, they have a good team around them. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here to improve to 3-0. Cowboys versus Bears, I'm taking the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they have a solid roster too. They've played 2 really good games in my eyes, and I see the Cowboys really showing their dominance in this game against a poor Bears team. Chiefs-Giants. I said that the shocker is going to be the Giants. I think the Giants are going to beat the Chiefs. I don't hate the Chiefs, but they just, offensively, they worry me. So I think the Giants are just putting it together more on offense than the Chiefs are, and that's what's leading me to think that the Giants will beat the Chiefs. And in the game of the week, Lions versus Ravens, I'm taking the Ravens. They're at home. They have the better team. I think the Lions are a very good team as well, but the Ravens are at home, and I think they have a better team and a better defense and just a better coach team in general. So I'm going to take the Ravens on Monday Night Football. But that is going to do it for the Fifth Quarter Podcast, Episode 3 in the books. I am your host, Caden Aguiar, and I'm out.